Summary of Small Things Like These by Claire Keegan. Setting and atmosphere. The novella is set in the small Irish town of New Ross during the weeks leading up to Christmas in 1985. The atmosphere is heavy with the damp chill of winter, and the economic struggles of the era are palpable. It's a time of austerity, with the Catholic Church wielding significant influence over social and moral life. Protagonist, Bill Furlong. Bill Furlong, the central character, is a coal and timber merchant in his mid-40s. He is a hard-working man, deeply dedicated to his wife, Eileen, and their 5 daughters. His life is a modest one, defined by routine and the effort to provide for his family. Despite the financial constraints of his middle-class existence, Bill is content, deriving satisfaction from the warmth of his household and the simple pleasures of his daily work. Bill's past shapes much of his character. Born out of wedlock to a young servant girl, he was raised by a wealthy Protestant woman, Mrs. Wilson, who treated him with unusual kindness and provided him with an education. Her generosity and his mother's resilience instilled in him a strong moral compass, though he remains a man of few words, living quietly and avoiding confrontation. Themes of routine and reflection. The story begins with Bill reflecting on his life and the rhythms of his work. As he delivers coal to various households, he observes the stark contrast between those who are well off and those who struggle to make ends meet. His internal monologue reveals his empathy and deep awareness of the societal inequalities around him, though he largely remains an observer, not an actor. Discovery at the convent. During a routine delivery to the local convent, which is run by nuns, Bill encounters something that shakes his sense of moral complacency. In a dark and cold coal shed, he finds a young girl, dirty and malnourished, locked away. Her presence suggests something deeply troubling about the convent, which operates a Magdalene laundry, a notorious institution where women deemed fallen by the church were confined and forced into labor. The girl's plight reminds Bill of his mother's vulnerability as an unwed young woman and stirs a sense of moral responsibility within him. He learns that the girl has been punished for trying to escape, and her desperate plea for help lingers in his mind. Moral dilemma. Bill's discovery puts him in a difficult position. The convent is a powerful institution in the town, revered and feared in equal measure. Most people turn a blind eye to its operations, and questioning its practices is tantamount to challenging the church itself, a risk few are willing to take in this deeply religious community. As Bill wrestles with his conscience, he is haunted by memories of his own upbringing and the kindness that saved him from a life of hardship. He begins to see the hypocrisy of the townspeople, who celebrate the season of giving while ignoring the suffering in their midst. Bill realizes that silence and inaction are forms of complicity. Tension with Eileen. Bill's internal struggle affects his relationship with Eileen. Practical and pragmatic, Eileen is focused on ensuring their family's stability, and does not share Bill's sense of moral obligation to intervene. She fears that meddling in the affairs of the convent could bring trouble to their family, jeopardizing their livelihood and social standing. Her resistance underscores the broader societal pressures that discourage dissent and uphold the status quo. Climactic decision. As Christmas approaches, Bill is faced with a choice: to act on his principles or to remain silent like everyone else. The decision is not easy, as it requires him to weigh his responsibilities to his family against his moral duty to help the vulnerable. The tension builds as Bill's growing awareness of his own privilege and the injustice around him compels him toward action. In the end, Bill makes a courageous choice. He returns to the convent and helps the young girl escape, knowing full well that his actions will have consequences. His decision is a quiet act of rebellion against the institutional and societal forces that perpetuate oppression. By helping the girl, Bill reaffirms his humanity and breaks the cycle of indifference that has defined the community's relationship with the convent. Themes and symbolism. Moral responsibility. The novella explores the tension between self-preservation and doing what is right. Bill's journey highlights the importance of individual agency in challenging systemic injustice. Institutional power and oppression. The story critiques the Magdalene laundries and the church's role in marginalizing vulnerable women, shedding light on a dark chapter in Irish history. Complicity and silence. Keegan examines how societal norms and fear of reprisal enable people to turn a blind eye to suffering. Redemption and hope. Bill's act of kindness is a reminder that small gestures can have profound impacts, offering hope in the face of entrenched injustice. The title, Small Things Like These, underscores the significance of everyday choices and moments of compassion. It suggests that seemingly small acts of kindness and courage can challenge larger systems of oppression. Conclusion: Claire Keegan's Small Things Like These is a powerful meditation on morality, courage, and the human capacity for change. Through Bill Furlong's story, the novella asks readers to consider their own responsibilities to others and the cost of silence in the face of injustice. The prose is spare yet evocative, creating a rich and immersive world that lingers in the mind long after the final page. Keegan's work serves as both a tribute to the resilience of the human spirit and a call to action, urging readers to recognize and respond to the suffering that so often goes unnoticed.